or I would have never gotten as popular if they weren't dropping, crazy dragons on me a day. I mean, those dragons are $250 a piece. So my top gifter, he was a level like 12 or 15 when I met him. And his first live that he came in, he gave me 5 shields. I thanked him. I didn't, do anything beyond that. And then the next time he came in, he dropped 10 shields. And then the next time he dropped like a couple of dragons. And then some months later, he was dropping minimum 10 to 15 dragons a day on me. And that was just from him. And then there would be my other Juji squad who would come and drop 5, 10 more dragons. And then some would drop 20 dragons. And then some would drop 3 or 4. By the end of my day, I'm up to 20, 30, 40 boxes every day consistently for months and months and months straight. I mean, I'm talking like almost a year straight. There wasn't a day that I had under 15 boxes. I didn't just like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I don't know, but I'm just going to roll with it.
Right.
But I really do owe it to I owe it to my supporters. My gifters were going so hard.
I got so used to the changes, moving from stranger to strangers. You should face it.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Spotless Minds podcast with your host, Olivia Jonell. Today I am super excited because I'm sitting down with somebody who I have been admiring from afar for a very long time. She's the top person I've ever seen effortlessly stream without having to do anything but just look beautiful and make tons of money. And so today I am sitting down with the beautiful Juju. Hi, Juju.
How are you, Olivia? So, I don't want to be rude, but it's Juji. Everybody calls me Juju, but it's actually Juji. But everybody calls me Juju. Okay. But if they were to, yes. But thank you for having me on your platform. I'm very grateful to be here.
Yes, thanks for coming. How'd you come up with that name?
It's short for my middle name, Juliana. So everybody just calls me Judy, short for Juliana. So it's just like a little nickname that stuck with me.
I love it. So can you introduce yourself to people? Tell them like what you do, how long you've been live streaming, all that type of stuff.
Okay, my name is Juji. I am a live streamer. I actually have been doing this for about 4 years now. I started off just from word of mouth. Somebody told me I should live stream, and I tried it, and it just so happened to take off for me. I did not plan on it taking off, but it did, and it was able to put me in a better position in life overall, connect with a lot of people, obviously have a lot of fun, and obviously, make some good money. And it's something that I would definitely recommend to women who are, just trying to get some extra money, or even men, just trying to get some extra money. Mm-hmm. And then to be able to network, connect with people. You learn a lot about people throughout the country, throughout the world.
Okay. And what apps or websites are you live streaming on currently?
Okay, so I'm very off and on with streaming right now because I've been like really busy. Mm-hmm. But I did start off on LiveMe. I blew up on Bigo. I pretty much streamed on quite a few platforms. Actually, I've tried. What's the name of the one that's like a competitor to Bigo? It's
Is it Hangout?
No, it's I can't even remember. But I've tried Coco, I've tried Bigo, LiveMe, any new app I've kind of went to kind of check it out. But because I'm not able to fully commit to it like I used to, I haven't really been streaming lately, but which is because of streaming, I'm able to take some time off and not have to, stream as much now that I'm pretty established. Mm-hmm. But I am looking to get back into, more of a steady schedule when it comes to streaming. Mm-hmm. And just branching out on a few different platforms.
Okay. And so when this friend introduced you to streaming, how did
Yeah.
you develop who you are now? Like, where was that process like?
It was actually a pretty carefree process because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything. I would go live on Facebook, and I had a lot of followers on Facebook. At the time, it was like a 5,000 cap. You couldn't get any more than 5,000 friends unless you were like a public figure. So I was at the cap and I would live stream, and a gentleman was like, "Hey, you should come on, check this out." So honestly, when I started, I just did what I always do, just engage with the audience, kind of talk a little bit about me, talk about the audience. And it was just really more for fun. I really, like I said, wasn't expecting anything to come of it. And I wasn't making money like immediately. I made a little bit, but nothing to be like, bragging about, or, it was just, a little bit of money here and there. I wasn't streaming regularly. It wasn't until I joined Bigo Live. When I joined Bigo, I started streaming. By my second or third month on Bigo is when I started hitting um, uh, the top tiers.
Mm.
So I would, really talk about my life or just talk about day-to-day things that people have an interest in. It doesn't have to be political or religious, although we have touched on those topics, but really just keeping my live stream fun and active, making sure that I engage with all of my viewers, whether they were gifting me or not. Because you never know who's going to come and make your day and gift you because they like your content. It could be because they think you're pretty. They might like your attitude, whatever the case may be. I just made sure that I engaged with my audience as much as possible, because when you're starting to build, you don't have a following yet. So in order to help create your following, you really want to engage with everybody, because they're going to come back and see you whether they gift you or not. And then once they've been on your stream for a while, they will start to gift you. If they're coming on your stream multiple times, they will start to gift you. And then once I was consecutively hitting those top tiers, I wish I could tell you I had a plan, but it was just something that fell into my lap. And then for me, I was lucky because I was able to be myself while I was making the money. When COVID hit, it just blew up. I mean, COVID changed the streaming game forever, because it went from a certain percentage and it tripled by like 300%. You immediately saw an increase in the amount of streamers. So it had quickly become pretty saturated at that point. But like I said, by that time, I was kind of, already had built a following. And when COVID hit, I was obviously, I used to bartend, so I was not able to work anymore because everything shut down. And that's when I really took off at that point, because I had more time to dedicate to the stream, where I would be streaming for 8, 10 hours straight, 12, 15 hours straight. It wasn't like, streaming is not like you could just stream for an hour or two and things will come together. You definitely have to be willing to invest the time. I invested a lot of time. I lost a friend. I had a lot of issues. I wasn't able to really balance out streaming with my other lifestyle choices. Like, it was just very difficult at first. I wasn't used to such extreme amounts of time being on live. I mean, I was not eating properly. I was not really sleeping properly.
Wow.
Quick 5-minute showers, hurry up, getting ready just to make sure I'm on top. But I would use the time to stream to cook myself a meal, because nobody really knew outside of that. But that was like the only time I would eat. So it definitely took a lot of time. It was a little stressful, but I think because I was just on it on a daily basis, that it ended up working out for me. And I really do believe it's because, I guess you could say, my people skills that helped me, because I'm always engaging with people, whether they are supporting my live with gifts or with views or with taps, whatever the case may be. I was very grateful to have all of my viewers there. And because of that, I was able to network with, a lot of celebrities. I was able to meet a lot of people, do a lot of networking and connect. And I ended up moving because of that to Miami, where I am now. And
Wow.
that's pretty much like all in all my story on streaming. It was a lot of work. I think when people see us, like online streaming, they don't really know how much work goes into that, but the behind the scenes, especially when you're streaming every day, 10, 12, 15 hours, sometimes longer. So it ended up working out, and I'm just very grateful.
I didn't even realize how many hours you were putting into it.
Hours. I mean, more hours than I worked my regular job. I think my longest stream was about 19 hours straight.
Ooh.
And we were in the middle of a competition, which I think I only placed like second or third, but it was a big, big, big competition. And I was up against some real big hitters, really huge hosts at that time. I was gaining my popularity at that time, but I wasn't solidified. I didn't have the following that I have now. I got about a 1.5 million followers on Bigo. So I wasn't even close to a million followers at that point. So I mean, it was tough. I mean, literally every day, minimum 8 to 10 hours. I did not have time for anything or anyone because I still needed to sleep, eat, take care of myself. My makeup was done on my stream. My dinners were done on my stream. I did do it for content, but really I did it because that was the only time I had because I was trying to catch up on my sleep. So just to, I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of hours. I don't think people realize how much time you have to put in when you're building from zeros, literally zero followers. Some streamers are able to do it much quicker. But it did take me, I want to say, a solid year of me streaming consistently. It took me about a year to get my million fans. And like I said, just the effort constantly trying to make sure that I'm on live, because if you let up and you lose your following, they're gonna not even lose your following, but the minute you get comfortable, they will go to somebody else's stream and you will lose your fans. So you have to be consistent. Consistency, I think, is probably one of the most important things when it comes to streaming.
Yes. And so, all right, guys, so I'm sponsoring my own podcast today. On this channel, we talk about all things health, wealth, beauty. And so, what better way to protect everything that you've been working hard towards? The healthy eating, the working out, building your wealth, building your beauty, if you're not at least going to protect it financially. Back in the day, the men were the breadwinners. So when we passed away, there really wasn't much, if we weren't married, to really be passing down. Now we are bosses. Hello. CEOs. We are actually head of households these days. And so I just want to come and remind you that there's no better time to get your life insurance than who you are today, because your health, your age, all of those things affect your prices. So if you plan on having kids in the future, if you have kids in the present, if you're protecting your family and you were to pass away today, is everything that you've been building, your legacy, protected? Next question. If not, what better way than working with me and getting your family some life insurance? I'm the best at what I do. #1 life insurance agent. So definitely let me know. I am a broker, so I work with the top A-rated companies. So I can for sure get you the best deal in the market with the best companies, fastest payouts. Girl, I got you. Just know I got you. All right. So I just want to know, like, how does that boost your ego, knowing you have like 1.5 million people like obsessed with you?
Well, I'm gonna be like totally honest. I've never been I grew up in a very frugal household. We never really had much of anything. So I never, I was humbled at a very young age. So for me, having the followers it's nice. It makes me feel good. But I also know that that is social media, and I separate that very much from my real life. You know, those people do not know me in person. And although, you know, streaming comes with drama, comes with tears, laughs, all that. But in reality, it makes me feel good, but I don't let it go to my head, because just as quick as I got my following, I can also lose my following. You know, streaming is, there's a lot of awesome streamers that have a great story to tell. So I never let it go to my head, because I feel like the minute I do, I would lose my following. I just never want to be one of those people that's so far up here that I can no longer relate to the people that I talk to on a daily basis when it comes to my stream. But I would be lying if I said it did not feel good. It feels great knowing that I, you know, have those followers, but it feels better knowing that I got them from just like sheer like grind, just like being on my stream every day for hours and hours and hours a day. People coming to see, you know, like what was really going on in the stream. So it does feel good. It feels great. But I definitely make sure I stay grounded and not let that, you know, go to the top of my head. Because I know how quickly, you know, you can fall from a rise. So I'm grateful for everyone that follows me, or anyone that has supported my live, whether it was through comments or gifts, shout outs, whatever that may be. I'm very grateful. I'm very happy. It makes me feel really, really good. But I just make sure I don't let it, you know, go to my head.
And what do you think makes you so like special? Like, because first of all, I didn't do 10 to 12 hours. I would do 2 hours a day.
Brutal, brutal, brutal. It's
I
brutal,
think
girl.
that probably has a lot to do with it. But after the 2 hours that I will be live, I would feel like I was running out of things to talk about, running out of like, you know, bits or funny
Running
things.
out of content. Yeah, yeah.
What about you?
That is a very,
Mm.
I'm
So
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah, what do you think about you makes you like stand out?
For me, like I know I'm not uh a 10 out of 10, but I also know that I'm not an unattractive woman. So I do feel like my beauty played a role in it. Obviously I would make sure I was dressed nice, dressed sexy, depending on my mood. But ultimately, I can't even say it's that, because there were so many beautiful women who were dressed beautifully who just didn't do good. And I was wondering, like, how are they not just getting, just how are these people not pouring gifts on these girls? Like, this girl's beautiful, her body is beautiful. But what I realized, and for me, what I think that kind of made me stand out was the fact that I engage with my viewers. You didn't have, you know, too many streamers that would engage with their viewers unless they were gifting. When they were gifting, or if they saw someone come in with a certain level, you were able to see who is spending money, who is not. For me, I kind of just talk to everyone. In addition to me knowing that engaging with my viewers sets the tone for the whole live stream, and it brings people back, it also helps create content. When you are talking to everybody that's leaving a comment, you don't have to work so hard to think about, what am I going to talk about? What topics will I have? Most of the time, the topics that I spoke on were topics that came from my viewers. So I would just go with the flow of my stream. And to be able to do that, you have to engage. And I really honestly think that's what set me apart. I'm big on customer service in real life. I do work in the beauty industry and the beverage industry. So I deal with people day in, day out. Well, when I was working regularly. And I think that's what set me apart. There was really no streamers engaging with everyone unless they were gifting at that time. And it got to a point where I realized I didn't have to do, you know, much for content, because my viewers would come in and they would talk about things that, you know, was going on in their life. And then I could relate with what was going on in my life. And then it would just literally start from there. And I also would when I first started streaming, I was bartending, and I would, you know, set my phone up while I'm bartending. That way they could see me whip up cocktails. And I think people enjoyed watching me work. it gave them a sense of like, oh, well, we see her on the grind, we're going to help her out. We're going to support her. And, we see this girl on the grind doing her thing. So I think that also helped them seeing me, in that kind of environment, in a bar environment, music, all that. But I really think it's just my people skills that set me apart from everyone else at that time. I do feel like I am a great listener, and I, engage in conversations with all of my viewers, regardless of what level they were, who they were. I stayed out of everybody else's broadcast, and I stayed in my own. I did not hop around from streamer to streamer to streamer. I didn't know what anyone else was doing. I didn't care. I stuck to myself. I tried to keep myself out of the drama as much as possible. And I think that also helped, just, not worrying about this streamer, that streamer, this gifter, that gifter, just doing my own thing. And I was able to get my Juji squad started. And that's when I set the trend for having signature gifters that carried my name and would gift me and only me. And that was another staple in my streaming career that kind of set me apart from everybody else, because I had, 5-6 gifters that, just had my name and they would support me and me only. And nobody else had that at that time. Nobody had signature gifters at that time. So I think that was another big staple for me that made people want to come in my stream and see, like, what was going on, or how I was able to, get these huge gifters that would, drop 10, 20, 30 dragons a day on me. So just the people skills.
I was about to say, can you share? Because I remember when that started and people would come to my lives and I would just keep seeing Juji, and they weren't gifting me. They'll just come and look. And then I'm like, why is this coming up so much? What?
It started as a joke, actually. It actually started as a joke. One guy was like, oh, I'm Judy's baby daddy. And then he changed his name. And then he's like, I'm going to keep it. And then one of my other gifters is like, oh, if you're Judy's baby's daddy, then I'm Judy's husband. And then it kind of, it was just a joke. And then it kind of just, I never asked anybody like, oh, put Juji in your name. Like, they just did it. It just kind of started as a joke, and then it became an actual thing. And I knew that those gifters would go into other people's lives and they would be like, oh, Juji's this or Juji's that, well, was in my life, but they didn't gift me. And I never told them like, oh, don't gift anybody but me. They just, toward the end, I did say, like, if you have my name, then support me. If you want to support everybody else, then drop my name. Because at that point, my Juji squad was a thing. It was an actual thing. So, it started off as a joke, but it became a thing. And then my top gifter, he was a level like 12 or 15 when I met him. And his first live that he came in, he gave me 5 shields. I thanked him. I didn't, do anything beyond that. And then the next time he came in, he dropped 10 shields. And then the next time he dropped like a couple dragons. And then some months later, he was dropping minimum 10 to 15 dragons a day on me. And that was just from him. And then there would be my other Juji squad who would come and drop 5, 10 more dragons. And then some would drop 20 dragons. And then some would drop 3 or 4. By the end of my day, I'm up to 20, 30, 40 boxes every day consistently for months and months and months straight. I mean, I'm talking like almost a year straight. There wasn't a day that I had under 15 boxes. There was not one single day that I had under 15 boxes when I got on my stream for like a year straight. And there was times where I'm going to be honest, I didn't know. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I don't know, but I'm just going to roll with it.
Right.
But I really do owe it to I'm going to be, I owe it to my supporters. My gifters were going so hard. I would have never got the internet cloud, or I would have never gotten as popular if they weren't dropping, crazy dragons on me a day. I mean, those dragons are $250 a piece. So, I mean, you're getting gifters that dropping 10, 15, 20, spending like, a lot of money. So I was like super grateful. And I really think that just the whole people skills really helped me out. The Juji squad. And then I was in the top family on Bigo in Icy Bags. Shout out to Zone. He's the the owner, the head of the family.
Right.
And Zone was also very popular, so me joining the Icy Bags family also played a major part in my popularity, because with Icy Bags, they were known overseas, so I would get a lot of Middle Easterns come to my live to kind of see, because everybody knows Zone. So between my stuff and me joining the Icy Bags family, that also really helped me prosper in the streaming industry.
Mm-hmm. And I know you said for a while you were starting to like get kind of drained and tired. What self-care did you have to start implementing for it to like kind of flow a lot more easily for you?
Sleep. When I got off my stream, when you are streaming at that level, whether you want to be competing, you are thrown into competitions. As you know, on Bigo, you rank. Once you rank high enough, you're immediately in those contests. You don't have to ask to be in. You're just thrown in depending on the level of gifts you receive. So when you're competing, soon as you get off your phone, you're still on your phone. You're checking, you're often on the app, checking messages, talking to people, who's in the first place, who's in second place, how many gifts do I need to take over? So it was like a constant 24-hour thing where even when I'm off of my stream, I'm still dealing with things on my stream. So after I became super overwhelmed, where I was, having issues with keeping my relationships with my friends and family, because they were like, we don't talk to you anymore. We don't know what's going on with you. We don't see you. Like, what's going on? Every time we call you, we don't get an answer. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sleeping. So once I got into a point where I was so drained, I said, okay, well, let me change. I would get off my app and I would stay off. I wouldn't get back on, worry about the ranking, worry about the competition. I started sleeping. And then once I was able to get, a sufficient amount of rest, I said, okay, that was enough for me. Long as I could get some sleep, I know that I could do my hair and my makeup on my live. I could cook dinner on my live. And but for me, it was sleep, a lot of mental cleansing, just making sure that I don't let the negativity get to me. Because on stream, as you know, you get a lot of trolls, you do get a lot of hate as well. So I made sure that I kept my head clear of any kind of negative comments or any kind of negativity that was going on. I mean, you're going to get pulled in a little bit of drama at some point, but I just tried to make sure that I left the app off, when I signed off. Making sure that I stayed in touch with my loved ones, my siblings, my family, like taking myself out to dinner or, like meeting up, I met up with some streamers, just doing things that I would do prior to streaming, realizing that, I don't have to put 10, 15, 12 hours a day in anymore once I had solidified my following, but I also didn't want to give up on them and start slacking after they had supported me. So for me, it was just the lack of sleep. So once I started sleeping more, everything kind of came together. For me, it just was sleep. It was because I didn't really have many other issues. Mentally, I was okay, just exhausted and just drained. I just made sure I kept the negative comments out of my head, stayed focused, kept my eye on the prize, and made sure that I was resting and like properly feeding myself and hydrating myself, like, getting a facial, like just basic, things that women do. But I just was neglecting because I'd never encountered this kind of a following before. So I was just really working hard to keep up because I didn't want to let my fans down, and I didn't want my platform to stop, hitting the numbers it was hitting. But once I started sleeping, taking care of myself like I was prior, everything ended up balancing out again. And then it was, easier for me to do those 10, 12 hours or however many hours I decided I was going to stream that day.
Mm-hmm. And what has been your experience with expectations from your fans when they're gifting you this much? Was it like, do they want to, because some of mine, like I felt a little obligated to talk to them outside of the app because they were spending so much money in the app.
Mm-hmm. Now that's a great question, because every streamer, you're going to come to that crossroads. So I'm going to be very blunt, very honest when it comes to that. When I started streaming, I definitely dressed more provocative. Was there a time, there was a time where, I would feel like, oh my God, should I send him a message, or, should I do this? But I applied what I do in my day-to-day life, which is I don't overwhelm the gifters, because as soon as you get gifts, there's so many girls flooding their messages, because, people would come in my live and watch me, and they would message my gifters. Right. And because my gifters were so loyal, they say, oh, don't deal with her because she was messaging me. I even had an admin for my live who was one of my girls on the live stream, and I would get up to like go use the restroom, and she would block or kick out my gifters. So for me, I realized my top gifter, what I did, I remember the first message, he had gifted me pretty good after like his third time coming. And I sent him a message and I said, thank you. And I'm going to be honest, when you have somebody supporting you at that level where they're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on you a day, a week, a month, you do want to give back. They deserve something more than just oh, hi and bye. Some streamers feel like, no, you don't deserve anything. You deserve me over here. Once I'm off, that's it. But I valued my Juji squad. I valued my top gifters, and I appreciate it. It was nothing for me to have a conversation with them or just say thank you. My top gifter was Juji Loves Me More. His name was Jay, but his name was Juji Loves Me More. And I would talk to him all the time. He was nice. He was like, I want to say he was an engineer, but he was nice. He was from California. He was attractive. He would come and just chop it up with me. So I did feel, I liked him. He was so kind. It wasn't a problem for me. All I did was thank him. And then from there, we talked, and he was never sexually explicit with me. He was never, like, oh, show me your, he never asked for a single picture, a video, or anything. And I'm not saying, I can't say that for all of my supporters. And I was not offended even if they did, because it kind of comes with the territory, especially when I'm dressing provocatively and I'm giving off that aura. So it's expected. It never was offensive to me. I wasn't mad about it or complained about it. It is what it is. It comes with the territory. But some gifters, they want to see you, and that's where you have to draw the line. You have to pick and choose. I'm not saying that you can't link up with people that you meet on your stream, but it's strongly encouraged not to. You don't know these people. You don't know who's crazy, who's not. So I do strongly encourage women or men, just streamers in general. You don't want to link up with these people, especially if you know that they do have a sexual desire for you, because it's going to put you in a position to make some decisions that you might not want to make. But it does require a balance, but giving, just being polite, having a conversation, I don't think it's too much to ask. And once again, I think that's what kept my gifter, in my life, because even when I was off of my platform, I would text him or I would call him and be like, oh, hey, how are you? We would just talk about day-to-day life stuff. So, but it wasn't every Juji squad member that had access to me. Every Juji squad member, there were 2 that had access to me that I enjoyed, talking to. They were very supportive, they were very kind, and they were very loyal to me. I didn't feel obligated to talk to them. They never initiated oh, give me your number, let's go on a date. I would just tell them hey, I'm going to send you a message, and I would message them on the app. And then, I'd say, just text me, because when I'm off the app, I'm off the app. So right. I'm not going to get your message. So, shoot me a text. But I think that's up to the streamer. But if you don't want to be put in the position to lose your fans because they met you or they had sex with you or whatever the case may be. You do have to set those boundaries, and you have to be willing to lose your gifters in order to do so. Because some men do have a different agenda. If they're not getting something from you, then they are not going to gift you. And I'm not knocking them for that. That's the name of the game. So I get it. It's not offensive to me whatsoever. But you do have to set your boundaries as a streamer. Whatever those boundaries are, set them and stand by them. And you might lose a couple of gifters in the process. But in my opinion, your supporters, you don't want to build your following that way, because there's always going to be a younger, prettier, hotter version of you. You know what I'm saying? So you do want to have content. You do really want to be genuine with these people when they come in your life, because you're not going to have them forever. So you need to have them and appreciate them while they're there, and hope that, you can work hard to create new gifters, because over time you will lose your fan. They'll go to another streamer, whatever the case may be. But I think boundaries are important. Like I said, you got to be willing to take a hit sometimes. If somebody really supports you, they really like your content, they're going to stick around regardless of if you've met up with them, if you're texting them, flirting with them, sending them, pictures or whatever the case may be. Setting boundaries and sticking to your boundaries, and making sure that, if you're promoting something, then you're going to have to stand by that.
Right.
So, don't, and that's one thing I don't really understand when it comes to streamers. They'll be like, oh, you're over sexualizing me, or you're this, like, you're on camera dressed provocatively. Of course you're going to be sexualized. That's the name of the game. But you can still be classy, and you can still set your boundaries and maintain them, and be prepared. Some people might stay, some people might go. So I think just having boundaries and doing what you are comfortable with as a streamer.
We are wrapping up. So you say you do coaching, right?
I do.
Where can they find your coaching program?
It's actually really been through word of mouth. I've been very lucky because so many streamers know me. But I do have an LLC for it. I am working on like all of the paperwork, because usually we would do like a Zoom thing, like, where we would get on and I will coach them, tell them, I will come into their live, kind of let them know, how to sharpen up or what they can do different. But right now I just tell people to contact me on Instagram, because it has been so successful. I really haven't had to hardcore, like, push or promote it. But I would just tell them to contact me on my Instagram if you are looking to expand as a live streamer. If you need some help, them is Creflo _Juji, spelled CREFLO _Juji, JUJI. I have to think about it for a minute.
Awesome. And then is there any last words that you would like to share, some advice to anybody looking to get into the live streaming space?
Advice for existing and new coming streamers I would give would be genuine in what you do. Be genuine in what you do. Don't do the things that you don't want to do. Anything you put out can come back. So make sure that whatever you do, you're doing it and you're not ashamed to do it. You're comfortable doing it. You don't want video footage of you coming up and then you being all mad and drab, So make sure that you are being genuine to yourself, staying true to yourself, be polite, be kind to others. Make sure that you're being consistent, and be smart with your money. Be smart with what you do with your money. Properly take the steps to protect yourself, protect your money, and don't blow it all on nothing. Like, I've seen a lot of streamers do that. So make sure that you are investing in yourself when you do make that money. It really is all the difference. And just be true to yourself, man. Be kind to others. Be true to your stream. Genuine, and keep a tight circle like you would in real life. Everybody is not your friend on your live stream. You have to weave through, the people that are really not there for you. Other than that, I really couldn't say anything else, just the main part is just being genuine and expect that whatever you say, whatever you do can easily be brought back, so take accountability for what it is you put out on your platform. And when you're being genuine and true to yourself, you really don't have to worry about too much of that backlash, which is why I said, don't get on and get caught up and let everything go to your head. It's easy to come off the ground. So stay grounded, stay true to yourself, stay true to those around you, and take care of yourself.
Yes.
Don't forget to take care of you mentally, physically, all that. Make sure you take care of yourself. And I thank you for having me, on your platform. I'm really happy for you. I really appreciate being here.
Thank you for coming. This is a big deal for me. Like I said, I've been watching you from afar for a very long time and just being like, wow, she makes it seem just so effortless and just so like,
thank you.
Laughing and joking. Yeah, so thank you for being on, and thank you for letting my audience get to meet you and spread some knowledge. So that was awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate you so much.